Hello there. It's a terrible angle. The light is all wrong. You know what? My office looks like a terrible mess. This is not right. Nah. Oh, but the light is good. Drat it. Good morning. Right, well, recently I got to watch that SpaceX rocket explode in a totally guilt-free way, and that was good fun. I enjoyed that. But you know what else has been exploding recently? Tesla's stock. Oh my word. Boom. Yeah. And I think this is being driven by a few things. Firstly, the fundamentals of the business are looking pretty strong. It's made some profit, which is good because they don't do a huge amount of that. But they're clearly demonstrating that profitability is something that they can do if they want. The other thing is demand seems to be holding up really well. The Cybertruck seems to have been very well received despite some initial misgivings about broken windows and stuff. That doesn't seem to have slowed people down at all. In fact, in the earnings call for the fourth quarter 2019, Elon Musk was saying that he's got basically 4 years worth of orders. It'll take them that long to build that many Cybertrucks. So yeah, that's good, of course, but that's not going to justify a price increase from Tesla's shares. I think it was something like, if I remember, about $340 a share just after the Cybertruck was revealed, and now we're up to $780. But what's driving that? Well, probably to do with the fact that Panasonic was saying, yes, we are profitable in our relationship with Tesla, and they're quite bullish on that, which is great because, you know, we want them to make money. That way they carry on supporting Tesla making loads and loads of batteries, which is the number one thing that an EV maker needs if it's going to sell lots and lots of EVs. You can't make lots of EVs without lots of batteries. But there are other things going on as well. And I think we're really getting to the point now where, as a species, collectively, we've realised that we've got to do something about the climate, otherwise it will just get more and more unstable as time goes on, with more and more negative effects for various people around the planet. Most of the people who will be hardest hit will be the people who are least able to actually absorb those changes. And yeah, I think it's fantastic. It's clear that that's the way it's got to go. And basically, most people now accept that. Whereas I think in the past, the majority of people's mindset was more in the sort of, they kind of figured, well, yeah, we carry on, you know, with our diesel cars and our petrol cars, and we do that for another 50 years, another 100 years, you know, so long that I don't have to think about it. That's something my kids will have to deal with. Now it's becoming something that we have to deal with. In fact, the UK government has said that they're going to bring forwards the ban on petrol and diesel cars, and they're going to include hybrids and plug-in hybrids, and that ban is going to come in force from 2035, 5 years earlier than was previously announced in 2040. When you look at this, it pretty much explains why the Tesla share price is so high. The market cap on Tesla at the moment is $140 billion. There's a kind of a mass psychology thing going on a little bit, in that people are starting to see that this is the way that it's going. Take the UK, for example. So from 2035, either Toyota will be selling a decent number of compelling and, you know, relatively competitively priced fuel cell vehicles, or they won't be allowed to sell any vehicles in this country. All right, unless they come out with an EV, of course, which is what I think they will probably do. I'd give it 4 or 5 years and they'll sort of quietly change their tune and just start making EVs, because that's what everyone else will be doing. Crazy when you consider that they've got a $199 billion market cap and they're the world's largest automaker. And this is kind of the thing about Tesla. Unless somebody really makes a strong move in that electric vehicle direction, I don't see how Tesla can be cause, which means they'll be the number one car maker at some point as EVs become the preferred vehicle for people to buy, which I think they more or less are already. It's the availability and the price that holds people back quite often, coupled with the charging infrastructure as well to some extent. Now, the other thing about Tesla, of course, is they don't just make cars. They also make solar panels and batteries for your house and batteries for grid scale storage, if that's your flavour. When you look at where we need to go as an industrialized society, and you look at what capabilities Tesla can provide to enable that movement, it becomes clear that they are the company that seems to have all of the brand recognition, all of the psychological buy-in. You know, they're leading the pack. And because they're leading the pack, it's a little bit like, you know, online. It was basically inevitable. Everyone knew that buying stuff online was the way it was going to go. If you actually really thought about it, you could see that the cost advantages and the added utility of being able to go online and go, I want a new pair of trousers, I want some light bulbs, and I need some paint, and I could do with some cable ties. You know, just a bunch of random stuff that would take you half a morning or longer to go out and get all of these things, and it just turns up on your doorstep, like literally the next morning. And it's cheaper, and you have more choice. You add all these things together and you come up with a really, really compelling advantage over the bricks and mortar stores. And that's why Amazon is worth an enormous amount of money. And anyone who spotted that it was moving in that direction nice and early got to benefit. Despite the fact that there were plenty of people out there saying, oh, it's never going to take off, oh, this online thing, oh, you know. It's people stuck in their ways. But being stuck in your ways when the world is changing doesn't really do anyone any good, because the world is changing. And I think it's exactly the same thing with electric vehicles. So, do I think the Tesla share price is overvalued? No. I think it is actually probably quite undervalued. However, big caveat, whenever it comes to anything with Tesla, their share price can always go up, down and sideways. And that's the thing. You know, if you were going to buy in now, I think you'd still make loads of money, even at $780 a share. I think it could double, treble more over the next 5 to 10 years. But on the path to getting there, it may also drop to $300 a share. It's entirely possible. It's happened before many times with Tesla. The share price is always going up and down because people are trying to assign the vast majority of the value in that stock to a bunch of things that may or may not happen in 5-10 years time. Very exciting. Right, I need to go have a run because I haven't had my run for today yet, and that's a problem. Also, we've got some people here sort of trying to sort the house out. Anyway, I wanted to make this quick video because the share price is just wow. I mean, I've been watching it go up, and unfortunately I don't have any stock. We've got no skin in the game with Tesla at the moment. I'd like to buy in. I suspect it's going to go down a bit before it goes back up at some point in the next 3, 6, 9, 12 months, who knows. So I'm going to kind of wait for a bit of a dip and then buy in. That's what I'm going to do. Of course, knowing my luck, it won't dip at all. It will just keep going up. So anyway, I'm not giving investment advice in case anyone's wondering. It's not. There's some very confused analysts in America at the moment posting YouTube videos on like CNBC and stuff, which is hilarious. I do love watching the shorts get squeezed on Tesla because basically most of the shorts, it seems to boil down to the fact that they just look at it as a car company and they don't factor in the future potential and the direction of travel that we need to be making as a group of people on this small planet with limited resources. And if you think about it, long term, it's insane, really. I mean, obviously, petrol and diesel is gonna end because we can't keep digging the oil out of the ground. There's a finite amount of the stuff. And if we were gonna make our own oil from something, we would have to get the energy in order to do that, which brings you right back to things like solar and wind. Solar being one of the things that Tesla does quite a lot of. I mean, there are so many roofs all over the place. And the fact that only a fraction of them have solar panels on them is madness. Wow. How can it even be legal to put a roof on a house that doesn't have solar panels or solar panels built into the tiles? I don't care how it's done, but you shouldn't waste all that space that just happens to be pointing up at the sky at exactly the right angle. That's that thought done and dusted. I've waffled on too long already. I'm gonna go have my run. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, remember to like it, share it, subscribe if you haven't already, follow me on Instagram and Twitter if you don't already, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye. This is what I love about YouTube. I'm just watching the video from the Lab Vagabond YouTube channel. It's basically following the trip that Greta Thunberg took back across the Atlantic in order to get to the COP25 climate conference in Madrid. So she crossed the Atlantic and then they moved it and she had to cross back across the Atlantic, and she didn't want to fly. She wanted to do something pretty much zero carbon. I love the fact that YouTube allows for such an unguarded inside view of what it's like to try and pull something like that off. Brilliant. Can't wait for the next video. Now better get on with some editing or something and do something constructive. See ya.